What happens when you've been summoned as a healer, and you can't use any heal ability? Do you learn how to heal, or learn other unorthodox and more useful skills? Me, I would do the latter. Why?
'Cause my life is dope, and I do dope.
It's a clear, starry full moon night. A woman hears screaming and runs to see what has happened. Someone is in intense pain and cries, "Please get me a healer." He's an NPC adventurer named Ruth. Don't ask me why he has a girl's name. Anyways, the injuries he sustained were from black-maned wolves who usually hunt in packs. They were already strong to begin with. He was outnumbered 1 to 30. He needs a healer quickly. However, healers are expensive and he doesn't have the money and decides to borrow money from the Adventurer Association, which will be deducted from his next payment. As he converses with the teller, someone listens in and follows him out. On his way out, someone asks, "Excuse me, are you looking for a healer?" It's none other than MC, Kang Song-hyun. "You don't have to go far," he adds. "Let me heal you for a cheap price, you can pay after you're healed." The NPC is not buying it and thinks MC is a scammer. He's skeptical and demands proof and asks for his healer's badge. This is because healers earn so much money, scammers even arose due to the demand. Kang responds and tells him, although he's a healer, since he cannot perform heal, he wasn't given one. What kind of healer doesn't have the heal ability? Ruth thinks to himself as he ignores MC completely. As he leaves, MC adds that those wounds are made by hard claws, probably a pack attack. Also, the wound on your right arm is from a black maned wolf, right? All those must have happened due to you sustaining injuries on your leg by a stick, wink wink. Ruth turns immediately as to how he knew so much from just observing. MC smiles and tells him that although he doesn't have a healer's badge, he cures people for a living. He tells Ruth he would pay 600,000 gold for a priest, 300,000 or so for an adventurer healer, and for Kang's services you will only pay a reasonable 150,000 gold. Ruth is more convinced that MC is really a scammer and doesn't waste time and leaves immediately. MC adds, "After you're healed the pain will be more extreme, and if it hurts when you sleep, come find me," as he points to his residence and leaves. We now see Ruth in a church as he gets healed by a priest. The spell was flawless and the wounds healed instantly. The fee is 620,000 gold, although expensive priests are definitely effective, as he thinks to himself and leaves. He doesn't feel perfectly well, but he's sure he'll feel better soon. That night, the pain was unbearable. He cries out in anguish and was even in tears. He begs the lady to find a healer immediately. Although he got healed by a priest, why could this be happening? Just then he remembers MC's words and asks for MC directly, as he's the only one who could help. Bam, plot convenience. Just then MC enters the room and sarcastically asks Ruth, "So, do you feel better after receiving expensive heal?" Ruth proceeds to beg to just help as the pain is unbearable and hurts like hell. 300,000 gold. What? Please pay in advance. Ruth is confused, but it was 150,000 before. Why did it double? Kang adds that this is because the situation is 3 times worse than before. If you think it's expensive, call another healer. Just as MC was about to leave, Ruth begs him to stay and take his sword as payment. That's all he has right now. He adds that the sword is worth 200,000 gold. MC agrees and takes the sword and it disappears in his hands. Even Ruth is confused. MC explained that, just as Ruth experienced, there are things that can't be healed alone and poison is one of them. He explains further that the black lingonberry is quite poisonous and is usually found near where black maned wolves live. And most times wolves are known to use that to their advantage when hunting prey. MC materializes a purple potion and says there is a way, though. Ruth is confused as to what he intends to do and sweats profusely. Meanwhile, MC is standing menacingly with a knife in his hand. The antidote will be applied to the wound directly. MC tells Ruth that they shouldn't be using a knife, however the priest did an incredible job healing. There is no way for the poison to come out, there is no other way but to cut it open. MC adds that he doesn't have painkillers, so Ruth can scream all he wants. After accessing the poison, he proceeds to pour the antidote on the wound, one after another. 3 years ago, when he opened his eyes, he was inside an unfamiliar cave. A system notification pops up saying that he has been assigned a job. Before he has time to grasp the situation, countless monsters come out of nowhere and attack. Kang responds instinctively and grabs a stick and fends off the monsters. Somehow, he knew this wasn't the Earth he's from. However, he wasn't alone. There were others who were also in the same predicament as him. Some wanted to leave immediately as they have families, others just want to focus on surviving. While they are busy arguing, Kong is lost in his thoughts. Kong is giving otaku vibes as he grasps the situation, making comparisons to a fantasy novel, manga, and video games. It is then revealed that his job is a healer. Each of the travelers have skills related to their job. He also wants to know what skills he has and opens the window. He has cutting, God of language, and observation eye. Neither one can be used for healing. He is perplexed. His job is definitely a healer, but there's no healing skill. Back to the present, Kong wipes his hands after successfully extracting the poison and mending the adventurer's injuries. This will heal quickly within a few days. The patient is relieved, in tears, thanks Kong and apologizes for accusing him for being a scammer. Kong accepts the apology as he gets this a lot. Who would believe a healer that doesn't have the healing ability? He returns to restaurant Bitspole. While waiting for his meal, he takes out his journal to record the day's happenings. The place he's been dragged to is full of monsters and lethal pollution everywhere, a place that is hard to survive, the Azul continent. Hence, to find a way back, he has been keeping a record of everything. Julia accidentally cuts herself. Kong rushes in instantly to help and uses his eye of observation. He does a scan and concludes that the only abnormality is bleeding on left index finger. Kong proceeds to use his skill of bleeding control to stop the bleeding. You might be asking, why is he doing these menial things? Do they actually count? Well, in Kang's case they do. He has gained 1 point, contributing to 103 points. In order to get new skills and random prizes, he has to get 20 points. Anyway, since he has accumulated quite a few points, he will just go for 5 continuous roulette spins. He starts, he gets 2 stats increase and 20 gold. Finally, the final roulette reveals a new skill called distribution, which works by changing liquid potions into energy and distributing them. This also increases the potion's effect by 30%. This could be useful. He goes outside to try it. This time it's a physical enhancement potion. He smashes the potion and uses 2 skills, first absorb, and then distribute. This causes the strength in the target area to increase. In some cases this could be better than pouring it on some patients. He smiles and swings his hand. Bam! He punched someone in the crotch. Why did you attack me so suddenly? The NPC gets angry and demands an apology. Kong just responds by telling him that he has just restored his physical strength, so the NPC should call it even. After confirming this, his demeanor changes instantly as he is also looking for a healer. He wants Kong to join their party of 3. He also explains that the mission is to hunt a rare monster and the reward is 1.2 million gold. Kong agrees and they leave. Meanwhile, at the Adventurers Guild, a hooded man claims to be a healer and displays his abilities to the other 2 members of the party. Back to the Adventurers Association, Kang and Rick awkwardly meet the other party members. He didn't know Rick's friends had already found a healer. Well, the reward was 1.2 million gold, so the more people they have, the less money each of them will have. However, Kang and the other healer aren't discouraged and they still want to take part in the mission. The leader introduces himself and now the party of 5 leave. The other members are relieved that they now have 2 healers. However, Kong and the NPC are still skeptical of each other and avoid each other's gaze. Along the way, the NPC healer starts to boast by summarizing everything he can do, from beginner healing and even intermediate healing, blessing, shield of God, first aid, anti-poison, recovery, resurrection, and light of purification, and light of arrow and other divine skills. The other party members are impressed and expect Kong to also share his capabilities next. Instead of just talking, Kong flexes and just demonstrates his new skill, distribution, which distributes a potion's effect outside of the body. Even the other healer is jealous because he's never seen or heard of such healing abilities. Kong asks Furiel what monster they're actually after. Furiel explains that it's a sewer rat, not just a normal one but a rare monster class. He then jokes that since they'll be getting 1.2 million for just one rat, it should just be a stroll in the park. What? Kong gets serious and asks them if they've even hunted a rare class monster before, which they reply and say no. He also looks at the healer, who adds that he's been a healer for less than a year. With all these NPC newbies lack experience, Kong advises that they should turn back now and restock on potions as this is a rare monster, to which Furiel and the others make fun of, saying if you're so afraid you should just go back, it's just a sewer rat, to which Kong wastes no time arguing and agrees. He adds that he's sure that they will lose the battle, but he will be there to save their backsides. This time he will charge them 300,000 gold per person and leaves. After some time they've found the rat. Without a clear plan they immediately go on the offensive. The healer casts blessings while the rest attack. The rare monster instantly disappears out of sight. He pops up behind them, and in a squeal of terror he activates his aura and depletes everyone's mana. The healer tries to counter with an attack buff but is too late. The rat summons an armada of monster sewer rats, overwhelming everyone including the healer. Even the party member with the portal ability tries escaping but ends up in the same place due to the rare monster's aura. There is no escape, and just when things were about to end, bam, plot convenience, Kong breaks a potion on the healer's head. You should have thought this through. Who would give you such money for one rat? The NPC healer is shocked. Kong tells him to use his Shield of God skill, to which he responds in helplessness saying he doesn't have any mana left. No problem. Kong takes out a potion, and activates the Absorb and Distribution skill, and applies it on the healer. His mana is restored. He is confused and amazed at the same time, because it's common knowledge that it is practically impossible to replenish mana with a skill. He remembers his master telling him that only God himself has the ability to restore mana. He gets silent for a moment, trembles and asks who Kong really is. He then suddenly cries out calling different gods' name. Are you, Lord Ivar, Lord Frika, Agra, the incarnation of evil, Sheol, and then begs for forgiveness. He then swears that he won't expose what he saw today, and calls Kong Lord Ivar. Although Kong is confused, he just flows with it since they don't have time. The rats approach, the healer kicks a few and begins activating the Shield of God. This will do for now. Kong pulls out a potion and amplifies his own stats and begins pummeling through the rat armada. He notes that the reason the mission is worth 1.2 million is because of the rare monster's ability Domination, a skill that allows it to gather and control its own kind. However, he's prepared. He brought pesticide with him, Tentral Peppermint Concentrate. Although this isn't enough to kill all of them, his distribution skill should amplify it enough. He attacks the rare monster and uses the Incision skill to enable easy delivery. However, the rat shows no sign of slowing and gets even more riled up, and runs headfirst into a tree. The monster's Dominion skill is too strong. The healer wants to use heal on Kong, but Kong stops him and proceeds to use his own potion. His health is recovered for a certain duration. The monster then bites his leg, to which Kong grabs his head to mince the rat's brains but is thrown aside. This rare monster is quite smart. Its bite has caused abnormal bleeding and cancelled the regeneration effect. Although Kong stops the bleeding with the hemostasis skill, he is now vulnerable and is affected by the domination skill, causing debuffs on damage and mana. He has to finish this now before his reserves are depleted. Luckily, since Kong doesn't use mana, this isn't much of a hindrance and he attacks head-on. He plunges his blade directly into the monster's carotid, delivers all the pesticide and slashes its throat. As he withdraws, the monster drops and its aura dissipates. A notification pops up. Kong has achieved an accomplishment. He's hunted a rare monster all alone. If he had accepted help from the NPC healer, this would have forked his chances of getting such achievement. He wants to see the reward. He's acquired a new skill, Throw. At first he thinks this skill is completely useless for a healer. However, he notices the bonus effect of 25%. This means that if he throws a poison with 1% chance of instant death, the bonus effect will make it a 26% chance. This is awesome. The numbskull interrupts and spouts some boring religious bullcrap, and adds that he will keep Kang's secret till his death. He then wakes the other members with his resurrection skill. Everyone wakes up confused. Did you enjoy your sleep? What happened? They asked. Did you kill it? Kong responds. Do you think it died of old age? Furiel is more confused than amazed. Kong now unapologetically reminds them that they all owe him 300,000 gold each, to which they agree. One more thing, he cut the monster and removes a rare item. Kong feels bad for taking all this gold. Furiel tells him not to be, as they are grateful for being saved. And they leave as they are travelers and they ponder on changing professions and become farmers. Now, Kong wants to get this item graded and he goes for artifact appraisal. This artifact store is part of the Adventurers Association. Items acquired from Monster Hunt are sealed in a crystal shape, so they have to be unsealed before they can be used. Kong gives the item. The appraiser pauses in amazement. Kong thinks this might be better than expected. The appraiser tells Kong he'll start now and grabs the item and appraises it. All done. C-class artifact. Its charm with a small life. C-class. Really? Kong becomes suspicious. It's obvious. The appraiser pulls a fake explanation out his rear and starts talking about price, but Kong knows better and pulls out a potion and pours a couple drops on the item. The appraiser is confused. Kong explains that this is Latasia potion. It's a substance that goes crazy when it makes contact with blood. He then takes out the knife he used to kill the monster and douses it in the potion. Mind you, it's been cleaned, yet it still reacts because there's still traces of blood on it. Kong confronts him. So this thing that came out from a monster's body should react crazier, right? Unless someone switched it. Bam! He introduces the dude's face to the table. The appraiser tells Kong that he's making a huge mistake. They are inside the Adventurers Association's premises. Is that so? This time Kong plants his face into the table with joy. Dude is unconscious. Kong uses the hemostasis skill and introduces himself. I'm a healer, Kong Songhyun. He now know he's fucked. There is a saying in the Azul continent, if you are going to scam a healer, make sure you don't get caught. There are two types of healers who bring artifacts, a super strong one, or a madman who hunts monsters for fun. They beat their enemy on the verge of death and heals them to beat them again. The sayings were true, the appraiser had front row seats, yet he didn't sense divine power. It's revealed that this is actually a B+ artifact, and mental focus ring of A class. It's worth approximately 6.4 million gold. This scammer tried to buy it with 120,000. The stats are why the ring is so expensive. The appraiser explains that, as you know, it's game over for a wizard who's panicking, so this increases mental focus and is quite useful regardless of profession. He unseals it and Kong leaves for the pub. The pub is full. He's told to join a table or go somewhere else. Someone calls his name, Dr. Kong. He turns. It's Kim Jung-go. They are old acquaintances. It's been 2 months. He tells Kong to order anything since he's also made 2 million. Kong then suggests a 1.9 million gold mead. They split the bill since it's too expensive. Before drinking he adds a stamina potion. This plays 2 roles. 1, drink longer, and 2, also replenish his stamina because he can't use mana, and he needs stamina to activate skills. In the middle of drinking, they get into more serious conversations and turn off the system's communication of God for privacy. They both haven't found a way to Earth yet. Kong reveals that he's got a new skill that has a black star for the first time. It's way better than normal skills. Kim recalls someone by the name of Kim Ji-hyung with a black star skill. That guy was very strong. Although he was also a dimensional traveler like Kong and Kim, there was a huge gap. He killed everything by himself. On his last day he started to scream. Finally, Kim tells Kong since he was the only one with such skill, maybe he found a way back. Chapter 7. They thank each other for the great time and leave. As Kong leaves he ponders, if what Kim says is true then obtaining a 4-star skill should definitely change something. Tomorrow Kong will continue to gather points. It is now morning in the Hind Village Street Mall. Heads turn as they see something eye-catching. It's Kang's sign. He's providing cheap healing and also accepts bartering as payment. Kong welcomes each curious patient majestically. Some adventurers even make fun of him, saying, the weirdo doesn't have a healer's badge yet still wants to heal. How can someone be a healer if they can't heal? He's a scammer. However, Kong isn't discouraged by those NPCs' comments because he has a target customer. When the noise dies, his real customers arrive. They are ones without money but in need of healing. Each time he welcomes with open arms. This particular patient, initially thought to have tetanus, only has wound infection after being injured by farming equipment. The wound could have been infected because of the old bandages. He treats her and gives her a semi-solid potion and uses his cloth-making skill to make bandages for the patient. She thanks Kong and leaves. Note that for Kong it's not just about money. He has to treat any patient regardless of status to get points. Today was a success as he's helped a lot of people. He's accumulated a total of 172 points. Catching monsters isn't bad either, but curing people in a village peacefully is the best. Suddenly, his table filled with potions is kicked. Someone insults Kong. You call this dirty tent a store? He demands some potions. Kong looks at his potions and then fakes a smile. Who the F is this a-hole? The dude wants any potion that he's made. Kong is confused. He seems to be a noble, but why is he in this small store? Kong reveals that these are the only potions left. So it was you, the lucky potion maker, dude replied. He introduces himself as Richard Yarev. He's one of the 3 sons of the Yarev family. Yarev is quite a powerful family around here. What could he want with Kong? The chief guard announces to Kong that the head of the family, Hus Yarev, would like to hire him. Kong is confused as to why someone of high status and pride be looking for him. Before Kong could respond, Richard throws a pouch to Kong and tells him these are the ingredients for making medicine for the Tays. Tays actually used to be a very beautiful landscape, but now, it's become very polluted. The land rots and releases poisons, and while the Lord was killing monsters in the area to stop the spread of poison, he was also exposed to the pollution in the process. They only heard from servants there is a powerful potion maker from this place, thus they are here. Richard adds that his father will grant Kong a great tour instead of this crappy one if he agrees, although it is an honor. Kong outright refuses. Richard gets angry but his guard calms him down. Kong explains, first of all, I'm a healer, not a potion maker. They are interrupted as someone rushes in and looks for Kang's help. His sister is injured. With Kang's eye of observation he finds that her finger was cut by a sickle, and she might die if left untreated. The finger is barely hanging on. Kong instructs that they need to clean the wound before healing. Richard laughs as he can't bear it anymore. It is then revealed that he is also a healer. Everyone is confused. Kong asks him to heal the girl but he refuses, and adds, does a lowly commoner like him even have enough money to pay me? Instead he proposes that if only Kong apologizes and follows his orders, then he might show mercy to the commoner. Now Kong notices that this bastard is really desperate for the potion. Kong turns and says, then I will do it myself. Richard is agitated as to how Kong intends to do that. Kong adds, I'll do it by just stitching it up. After stopping the bleeding and cleaning the wound with saline solution, Kong wants to start stitching. Richard is laughing away as he's never heard of stitching. He even bets his necklace that this would fail. Kong also adds that Richard will have to heal the commoners for free for 3 days and free meals too, to which Richard agrees and says that if Kong fails he will make that potion and never claim to be a healer again. They both agree to the terms. Kong starts by using special mana potion threads and activates his observant eye skill. As they watch in amazement, he uses all 3 skills in tandem and does the best use of all the skills and knowledge he has. Fingertip retransplantation, although requires immense mental concentration, was aided by the effect of the mental focus ring. Kong is running against the clock as his stamina is nearly depleted. Everyone is shocked the finger is reattached successfully. Kong also uses his full recovery skill to increase the speed of the patient recovery. Finally all done, Richard is furious. How could that finger still move? To which Kong tells him to check for himself. Richard uses his resurrection skill to wake the girl, and asks her to clench her hand and open her finger, to which she does effortlessly. Richard is out of words. Kong reminds him of their deal, the free volunteering and the necklace of luck. Damn it, he throws the necklace and leaves. The necklace of luck increases the luck of the wearer once equipped. The boy thanks Kong for healing his sister. Kong adds that they don't need to pay and only spread the rumors of what he's seen. Tell everyone to come to the city square so they can get free treatment and food. Back at the Beats Fall Inn, Julia asks Kong if the rumors are true. They're true. Kong replies and gives her the potatoes a patient bargained. Julia thanks him and goes to prepare something good for him. Wink wink. However, Kong is not really happy since he tried the roulette earlier for 10 times deducting 200 points, but all he got were just stats and gold. The roulette failed him. The only things of value he got were the crystal of vitality and inventory extension. He will use this crystal for stamina potions, so at least they are useful. Kim pops up to say hi and give Kong a crystal of strengthening for free as he doesn't need it. Kim adds that he will get a lot if he sell it. Kim adds that if Kong plans on selling that ring he can also suggest a store. That night Kong leaves for that weapon store. The owner welcomes Kong. Kong tells him he is here to sell some items. Upon inspection the luck crystal of the necklace is broken. The owner can buy the necklace for 3 million, but tells Kong to wait as he looks for the transaction history of the rare ring. He can look around the shop in the meantime. He looks around but a specific crossbow catches his eyes, and he tries to appraise it. Out of nowhere a glowing blue light appears and the system demands for Kong to get it no matter what. Kong is confused. He has never received such a human-like message before. He feels like someone is watching him. Just then the shop owner returns. He sees Kong and tells him that the crossbow is Frika's crossbow. It's a precious weapon recently found in the relics and came with Frika's pocket. If you put an item inside the pocket, the item will change it into an arrow, and fires a shot. He adds that Kong can even shoot 5 times in a row. Kong is intrigued and asks how much it costs, to which the keeper responds and says they're assuming it's 15 million, but he can sell it to Kong for 14 million if he wants it now. After viewing the records the ring can be purchased for 6.6 million gold. Kong has a total of 9.6 million for the ring and necklace. Even if he used his emergency money he wouldn't have enough. The shopkeeper tells Kong that if he doesn't have enough now he can register the crossbow as a reserved item for him. Kong is happy and agrees. He understands why Kim recommended this guy. Back to the Adventurers Association the next day, Kong also bought a brooch of vitality. The notice board is filled with prospecting adventurers. He pushes through and picks a mission. Urgent healer needed. The address is Bitspole Restaurant. Julia asks Kong why he's back. Kong informs that he is looking for someone. He finally found them. It's a priest who is ready to cast a healing spell. The NPC blonde girl advises the priest to hurry as her friend is losing consciousness. Meanwhile Kong activates his observant eye skill from afar. He notices that the bleeding is from an infection from a bite. The priest starts but Kong interrupts and tells him to wait. Kong apologizes for interrupting and tells them that the heal would be useless. The NPC priest feels insulted. I mean, who the F cares? But anyways, before allowing Kong to explain, the NPC blonde lesbian pushes Kong out the room and slams the door. They are all hard-headed. Well, Kong did try to warn them that heal won't work.